Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Live broadcast of the announcement of the Zwift Academy finalists out on the Team Dimension Data Zwift Academy, the program that happened this year. And we do have the announcement that just took place here. Sam Moberly, it looks like, Nick White, and Ollie Jones, all coming from the area of the Down Under, actually have made it into the top 3 from the final selection of the top 10. Actually, we will have a little bit of social media integration actually going on here throughout the broadcast. We're just going to be a short one here. I know Tom's got to get going here, but we do have Tom Hargreaves jumping in with us today, Zwift marketing manager actually. And let's go ahead and bring him right onto the broadcast. If you would like to ask any questions, he did just get done racing, so I think he wants to go grab some food and probably a quick shower. But Tom, welcome to the broadcast. Good to have you here. How's it going?
Yeah, very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. And I know you're just racing. Real quick on the racing, how'd the race go? And how are you feeling afterwards here?
I feel all right. Started the sprint too soon at the end. I don't know if you caught that on the broadcast, but yeah, I think me and Kim were a bit eager and hit the front a bit too soon. A couple of people came past us for the finish line. But there was a nice moment in the middle where Team X decided to kind of light it up a couple of laps in. Made it a bit more interesting than your average flat race. Didn't stick, but yeah, it was pretty exciting. Good. It was for a flat race. It was pretty good fun. Yeah, it wasn't the usual procession. Well,
it looked like there were a few attacks out there. Looked like you guys were killing it, and I think in the finish there, you did end up, I think, in the top 3 or 4 there. So that was a solid result. But we're here to chat about the obviously these boys, yes. Mr. Sam, Nick, and Ollie. Now there were 10 riders though, and for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Zwift Academy and what happened with it, can we do just a quick little recap from you, Tom, from the what Zwift's take is on what you guys are up to with the Zwift Academy with Team Dimension Data?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Academy, first and foremost, was a 6-week training program for absolutely everybody. Team Dimension Data are the partner for that, so we kind of work with them from the off to create the academy and our coaching partner, Train Sharp. But first and foremost, it wasn't about the competitive element. It was about getting as many people as possible into the academy and having like a social training community and everyone exiting that program a better and stronger rider than when they joined it. So it was to graduate, you had to do 8 workouts, 5 group rides, and 2 races. And that finished about 3 weeks ago now, because when that program went kind of finished and those who graduated got issued their kind of graduation jersey, the top 10 under 23s progressed forward into what is the competitive element of the academy, which is ultimately a competition to win a pro contract on the Team Dimension Data under 23 continental squad, who are based in Lucca in Italy. So that semi-final period came to a close on Sunday just gone, and there were 10 people in that program. At that stage, they did 4 more Zwift kind of workouts and tests and 4 on the road rides with kind of test elements in them. And the final 3 who made it through from that semi-finalist, Sam, Ollie, and Nick, and they're the 3 who are coming to the Team Dimension Data training camp on this weekend, and then next week they'll undertake a week-long period of finals, with one of them at the end of the week being crowned the winner.
Awesome, gotcha. And so, was it close? That's the first question I got. So was it? Well, I mean, yeah. It's gone kind of dark in the during the 10. There's obviously some things you had going on in real life. You guys wanted to get probably some more data outside of just Zwift. Is that kind of a tension in there a little bit you guys had to play with?
In what way do you mean?
Like just there's probably a lot of different contact points that you guys are having to deal with to try and parse these 10 riders' information to figure out what you're gonna, who you're gonna select, kind of a thing. And so, you went from the top 10 selection and then into this top 3 selection. What kind of changed in that process, as we aren't able to watch that as a community as much?
Yeah. So there's 2 things that changed really when we went into the semi-final. So firstly, we sent them all Tax Neo Turbo trainers, Tax being the training partner of Team Dimension Data. The Neo is is a great bit of kit when it comes to calibrating it and it being accurate against another Neo. So we asked them to do all their semi-final workouts on the Neo, which gave us a better perspective, a better benchmark against each other. And then, as I said, they had to do 4 more Zwift workouts, or tests, things like a 2x12 minute test, all the workouts that anyone can see in Zwift at the moment as well, because they're all in the workouts folder, the semi-final workouts as well. The second part was that we did want to get them out on the road and do some testing there as well. So the reason for that is because these guys ultimately are vying for a position on, an under 23 continental team that's going to be doing a racing calendar in Italy. They're not going to be doing 1 to 1.5 hour turbo sessions. So all the workouts that were prescribed for them on the road, or the rides, they were 3 to 4 hours long, that normally started with a 3-hour tempo ride, kind of zone 2, zone 3 ride. So they're not kind of hitting these workouts fresh, which was the idea throughout the academy, was that you had a 6-week period, to do 8 workouts. So you could do one, rest a couple of days, hit the next one perfectly fresh and prepared. In this, we asked them to do like a 20-minute test on the road, but 3.5 hours into a ride. So they weren't just jumping on the turbo, warming up and going. They were, have they got the endurance and the capabilities to put like a race winning performance in, at the end of a race rather than just at the beginning. So they were the 2 main ways that the semi-finals differed from the start of the academy. And that in itself gave us a much better idea of what the capabilities were, what the physiological strengths were of these 10 guys, but it was still at the top of that group, really close. It definitely wasn't an easy decision for us. And like on a personal level, I'm sad for the guys who are like 4th and 5th, who are that close, because it's, I guess, like most bike racing, they're not bad cyclists. They're really, really good cyclists. They're really strong. It's just there was someone there stronger, which is, I don't know, I find that it's a bit of a shame, but I really hope these guys go on to be like really successful cyclists. If that's what they want to achieve, this shouldn't stop them doing that. But it's a shame when they're that close and they're that strong, but someone just kind of pips them to the post, basically.
Yeah. And that's just the reality of racing, though. I mean, somebody's got to win. That's how it works, right? I mean, so so then the 3 that we have here, all coming from the the southern hemisphere of the world here, as we're seeing here. I mean, Nick, Ali, and Sam. Big congratulations to them. And do you guys see any strengths amongst these riders between the 3 of them as they move into the final here?
So I mean, they're all 3 of them are really strong. Ollie, who I think some people may already know, he was involved in the Aussie E-Crits. He's a slightly bigger rider. When I say big, I don't mean like he's a classics man. I think he's like 74, 75 kilos. But in terms of watts per kilo power, he is, really, really strong. But that means he's also really strong from a raw power perspective. I think Sam and Nick are both a little bit lighter than Ollie. That, from our perspective, doesn't make any difference, though. We're looking at these guys from a watts per kilo perspective. But Ollie and Sam both also managed to do a 7-day stage race in New Zealand during the semi-final period. So like, hats off to those guys, because we didn't say, oh, don't worry, you can skip stuff, or don't worry, we'll look at your stage race data. We were very strict. They had to do the program. They could do the stage race if they wanted. Initially, we asked them to do just the academy. And in the end, we decided that if they wanted to do both, they could do, but they had to go out there and do like a 2x12 minute test. They had to do the on the road rides. They couldn't spend a week like tapering for a stage race. And I think in the end, I got a message from Ollie saying that in the end, he played more of a domestique role for the stage race and kind of repaid teammates for the efforts they'd made for him early in the season, because he was, he'd obviously spent a bit of energy doing the Zwift Academy in the days prior. But it's cool seeing that level of dedication from these guys, and that they're also racing at a really high level as well already.
Yeah. And that was another thing that came up during the Zwift Academy a lot in our broadcasts. I know you got to get going here real quick, but just a couple more points real quick. That the idea that these guys are racing already in real life, a lot of them that are jumping into this academy. And that's almost kind of the expectation, is that you're looking to find those that are heading into this that have dedicated a lot and have had a passion for that, but it's this platform that they can express that in to a worldwide audience where they might not have been able to been found otherwise. But they're already racing a lot of these guys.
Yeah. I think in reality, the idea of finding this diamond in the rough is definitely an aspiration for us. But if by like diamond in the rough you mean someone who is based in like a rural community in somewhere like Central Africa, realistically that's not going to happen. I'd love to see it happen next year or the year after, and we want to do stuff like getting Zwift stations out into national testing centers and places like that. But I think this year round, for us to have done that would have been, like a 1 in a million kind of shot. But what is awesome is getting guys who are literally the opposite side of the world of places like Lucca, where that ultimately the winner is going to go and live and race an Italian calendar, and bringing them into the program, because being that far detached from the European racing scene just geographically does make it quite difficult. It's a big commitment if you did want to, up sticks and move to Europe and start trying to race for a team out there. So like at the very minimum, we've brought 10 people to the attention of Team Dimension Data and their selection squad for the team. And, at best we certainly are going to bring a rider from that part of the world into their squad for next year, which is, I think, is pretty cool. And hopefully next year we can go beyond that and look at more of that kind of diamond in the rough thing. Because that was ultimately the purpose of this academy, was to use Zwift as like a talent identification tool. One of the downsides to that is you have to be on Zwift, which means having a computer or some kind of device and having an internet connection. But hopefully we can start to overcome some of those barriers to entry next year. But for now, I think I'm personally pretty pleased with the reach that we got, and that we had people, a fairly decent mix globally, like a Canadian, a German, a couple Kiwis, that kind of stuff in the semi-finals. And the fact that the 3 finalists are then an Australian and 2 Kiwis is just down to those 3 being the strongest 3 in the finals. There was definitely no kind of consideration towards it being something like a nice mix of nationality like that. These guys are the strongest riders, and it's as simple as that. And that's all we looked at. So
gotcha. So then looking forward, what's next? It's going to be training camp. And like, are things going to change there too? Like, obviously you're looking at like almost 3 different aspects: rested, then like pushing them like crazy during this 10 finalist situation. What can they actually handle? Then put them into it, right? They're going to throw them in the fire now. It sounds like a little bit.
Yeah. Although, the way that I've been explaining the finals to a lot of people is that at this exact moment in time, we've got a really good idea of what these guys' physiological strengths are. We know they're powerful, and where in their power curve they are powerful against each other. What we don't really know is, how they're going to fit into moving into a team house with a massively diverse team in Lucca and racing an Italian calendar. The personality tests, how they're going to get on if you put them in a difficult situation. And I'm not going to reveal too much about what we're doing at the final, but they'll be flying to South Africa. They'll probably arrive some point Sunday afternoon. We'll then start the kind of final activity on the Tuesday. There'll be a lot of social media and stuff like that throughout the academy. So we definitely want people who are kind of watching or checking on social streams. They'll get to know these guys pretty well. But they're going to have definitely a different set of challenges than what they face currently. They're not going to spend much time on Zwift while they're there. They're definitely going to be out on the road. They're going to be spending time one-to-one with World Tour pros. Really, like, the guys from Team Dimension Data, top level World Tour experienced guys, in one-to-one sessions, and doing some fun stuff and doing some challenging stuff. And ultimately it's going to be more of a decision for that team of who they think is the best rider, because it's going to be more about personality and drive and passion, all those kind of things, rather than who can squeeze out the most number of watts on a turbo trainer, because it's ultimately not all about that when it comes to making it as a pro, as I think most people know.
Yeah, for sure. We've definitely seen the stories where super amazing talent and then didn't fit in the situation correctly. I know a couple of stories personally with guys who were very close to me in my professional career who just didn't make it at the pro tour level, or did make it at the pro tour level, or ended up riding in TDFs and things because they meshed well with a team, or did not and couldn't play their role well. So interesting to hear that. And that's really cool to see actually in the selection process, actually, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to come down to stuff like what their aspirations are. If these guys are they happy to play, to like move into a team and play a domestique role, or are they all looking to be like stage winners on everything? So that's all going to come out when we meet these guys and the team get to meet them and get a better feel for them. But in my experience so far in haven't met them obviously face to face, but working with them in the academies, they seem like three really, really keen. They're so grateful for the opportunity they're being given, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to meeting them all in Cape Town.
If the Sting was tough in the top 10, oh man, it sounds like you guys have a hard job ahead of you in the next week or two here for next week. I look forward to next week though, and doing as much coverage as we can with you guys for the process over there.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. We've got the week of rides with all the guys from Team Dimension Data. They're doing 19 group rides next week from Cape Town on Zwift. There's going to be a mix of group workouts, social rides. We've got everyone on the whole team doing it. A couple of rides with Cav, Steve Cummings, Evel Bosenhagen, Bernie Eisel. Everyone's on it. So I think we're going to be live streaming some of them as well. So you'll see some of those broadcasts on ZCL next week too.
Awesome. Super excited for that, Tom. All right, Tom, thanks for your time. Great job on the race tonight as well to you. And again, that was the announcement, you guys, for the Team Dimension Data Zwift Academy finalists. Sam Moberly, it will be Nick White and Ollie Jones that made in the final. That was Tom Hargreaves, Zwift marketing manager. Tom, have a great night, and get some recovery food and a cleanup over there probably after racing. Right after his race, jumps right on in with us. Committed man here from Zwift. Thanks a lot, bud.
Thanks, dude. Speak to you soon.
Yep, talk to you soon. All right, guys. So Tom Hargreaves giving us his time there from Zwift. That is the finalist. We will be back then tomorrow with the KISS Europe race. KISS Europe race, usual time, usual place. And we'll keep you guys updated with all the information that we can as they head on into the top selection, the selection for the winner of the Zwift Academy, as well as those group rides with Team Dimension Data next week. We'll definitely be doing some coverage of that live with the pros live here on ZCL as well. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and make sure to interact over on the social medias. We'll try and do our best to get back to you back and forth with more questions, comments, or which more you would like to see about all things Zwift. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the KISS Europe race.